When my vehicle collided, the emergency responders contacted my relatives. No one appeared. An hour later, my sibling shared a post, "Journey with the True Squad." I remained quiet. 4 days later, still injured and wrapped in bandages. My phone glowed, showing 41 unanswered calls and a Venmo demand for $3,100 for the lodge getaway. Everyone's contributing. Then a text from my mother. "Please call. It's critical. We can't resolve this without you." I grew furious, and the day my car wrecked was the day I truly recognized my family's true nature. I hadn't intended to drive that morning. I was meant to fly home from Denver after a 3-day work conference. But Luke phoned the previous evening, requesting funds for a weekend lodge trip with our sisters and some friends. He made it sound pressing, something about securing the booking before midnight or losing it. His card was short. He promised repayment by Monday. I didn't waver. I agreed to cover it as always. That's how it always went with my family. They reached out. I responded. Every time. The issue was, the money I sent left me just shy for a next-day flight, so I decided to drive through the night instead. I kept that to myself. No reason to share. They never inquired about my life specifics anyway. I left Denver near midnight. The roads were treacherous from snow that had melted and refrozen. About 40 minutes from home, I hit a patch of black ice near a bend, and that was it. A truck ahead skidded, blocking the road. I tried to stop, veered sharply left. The tires lost traction. I spun, struck the barrier, and flipped. The airbag likely saved me, but it felt like my body was crushed. I recall the metallic taste in my mouth, my ears buzzing. Medics extracted me through the passenger door. They cut away my coat. I asked about the truck driver, but their response is a blur. Everything faded. I awoke in a hospital bed, tubes in my arm, machines humming. Ribs broken, wrist shattered, arm sutured. My right side felt pounded. The nurse said I was fortunate, said I'd likely stay for monitoring a few days. I asked if anyone visited. She checked the records, said the medics had called all my emergency contacts at the scene. Voicemails left, yet no one came. I waited, staring at the ceiling, checking my phone constantly. Battery at 12%. No messages. No calls. Then, around 9:30 a.m., my brother posted on Instagram. A photo of him, my sisters Erin and Michelle, and my parents packed into the SUV, holding energy drinks, smiling like they were headed to a festival. Caption: "Journey with the Squad," posted less than an hour after my accident. I read it thrice, checking the timestamp, thinking it might be old. It wasn't. They knew. They knew I'd crashed. They knew my location. And they left anyway, packed up and drove off like I was invisible. That's when something shifted inside me. Not dramatically. Not with anger, just a break, like a rope stretched too far finally snapping. For years I'd held everything together. I was the safety net, the supporter, the one who paid for beach houses, textbooks, urgent dental bills. I'd send money for utilities one week, fund a trip the next. They always thanked me but never asked about me. I stopped expecting it. I just gave. And when I needed someone, not for money, just presence, they weren't there. They chose a lodge weekend over their brother in a hospital bed. I stayed silent. I didn't comment on the post. Didn't text anyone. Just lay there, bruised and bandaged, letting it sink in. I hoped someone might reach out later. They didn't. Not that day. Not the next. Not until 4 days later, when my phone buzzed with 41 missed calls and a Venmo request for $3,100 labeled Lodge Getaway. Everyone's pitching in. And below it, a text from my mom: "Please call. It's critical. We can't resolve this without you." That's when I stopped being their fallback. And I haven't turned back. I didn't reply. Not to the Venmo, the calls, or my mom's message saying, "Please call. It's critical. We can't resolve this without you." I stared at my phone, still in the hospital bed, ribs bandaged, wrist braced. That message flipped a switch in my mind, but not as she intended. I realized she wasn't calling about my accident. She was calling because something went wrong for them. They needed me again, and that was critical. My crash, my days alone in the ER didn't matter. When they discharged me the next day, I was still hobbling. They asked if someone was picking me up. I said no, didn't bother checking. I booked a rideshare and let the driver chat while I stayed silent. I gazed out the window, letting the quiet linger. My apartment felt strange when I entered, like a place I hadn't truly noticed in years. Clean, calm, everything as I left it. I sat on the couch, staring at the wall for 10 minutes, still wearing my hospital band. I felt every bruise, every cracked rib, but the real pain was the silence from those I'd spent my life supporting. I slept better that night than I had in years. The next morning I made a list, not a vengeful one, just a clear, honest one. Left column, every monthly payment I covered for my family, my mom's prescriptions, my dad's share of the mortgage, Aaron's grad school loan, Michelle's car lease, Luke's temporary credit card debt I'd paid for 19 months, streaming services, gym passes, bills, Netflix, everything. I totaled it. $27.80 monthly, just the regular stuff. Right column, names of those who checked on me in the hospital, 3 names, my grandmother calling nightly since she heard, my Uncle Keith offering to drive across states if I needed a ride, and Brian, a coworker I rarely spoke to, who sent a voice message offering food delivery, no strings attached. No one else. Not my mom, not my dad, not my sisters, not Luke. I studied the list. Then I opened my banking app and began canceling, one by one. I stopped every auto payment, unsubscribed them from everything they didn't pay for, removed myself from shared plans. I cut the cable at my parents' house, canceled Michelle's gym membership, stopped the electric bill Luke forgot was in my name. No messages, no warnings, no drama. That afternoon, Luke texted again. Said the lodge trip went over budget and I might have missed the Venmo request. Added a laughing emoji like it was a shared joke. Said he'd appreciate the payment soon. To keep things fair, I left it unread. Later, Michelle called. I ignored it. Then Aaron. Then my mom, my dad, 10 missed calls by evening. The next morning my mom texted again. What's happening? You know we've always supported each other. I stared at the message, feeling something new, clarity. They believed that, truly. They thought this was equal. That me constantly fixing their problems while they lived carefree was just family teamwork. That me draining my savings for their comfort was my role as a son, brother, uncle. But I saw what they never considered. They didn't need me. They needed what I provided, and now they didn't have it. For the first time, they'd have to manage alone, and I'd watch. It took less than 48 hours for the cracks to appear. Luke broke first. He texted the next morning, acting casual. Yo, can you spot me $150 till Friday? Like nothing had changed. I didn't respond. 5 minutes later, another text. For real, did I mess up? Just tell me, man. Still no reply. By evening, the first guilt attempt came. Aaron sent a group text. We need to talk. This family's breaking apart. As if I was the glue that stopped sticking. As if their world crumbled because I stayed silent. Then Michelle called. She left a voicemail, voice too calm like she'd practiced. Said she wasn't sure what was happening but hoped I knew how much everyone cared. She ended with, we're all stressed. Just call. We'll sort it out like always. That phrase hit me, like always, because yes, we always sorted it out, but by we, they meant me. I sorted it when Dad's business nearly collapsed, and I took a second job for their mortgage. I sorted it when Erin wrecked her car and needed a new one for school. I sorted it when Michelle wanted to study abroad and couldn't miss the chance. I was always the solution, not the person, not the brother or son, just the fix. That week, things kept unraveling. My mom sent a long text 2 days later, full of passive lines like, I don't know why you're punishing us. And this isn't how families act. No mention of the crash. No mention of the hospital, just frustration that I was changing. Then the financial issues surfaced. Michelle's car payment failed. She sent screenshots of the overdue notice, thinking it was a bank error. I ignored it. Aaron emailed, not texted, asking if I could reinstate the loan payment just for this month. Framed as temporary, as always. Then my dad. He called 3 times, left a message, not angry, not confused, just weary. Said the mortgage payment didn't go through, and if something changed, I should have been man enough to say so. Man enough. He wanted a discussion. But where was that discussion 4 days ago when I was bleeding in the ER? That's when I knew they weren't sorry. They weren't reaching out because they realized their mistake. They reached out because their comfort was disrupted. They didn't miss me. They missed the version of me that always said yes. I started getting calls from unknown numbers. Thought they were spam at first. Then I realized Aaron had given my number to a classmate to talk sense into me. Michelle had a friend DM me on Instagram, saying I was hurting everyone. Luke posted a vague story about how some people show their true selves when they stop needing you. It was surreal. Like they'd decided I was broken for not playing my part. Then my grandmother called again, asked about my recovery, offered soup from her freezer, never mentioned the money or fallout, just cared. Same with Uncle Keith. He sent a prepaid grocery delivery and told me to rest. The contrast was stark, and that's when I felt it, not just anger but strength. For the first time I wasn't being used, I wasn't being manipulated, I controlled who got access, and one by one the doors closed. The panic from my family was just starting, and I wasn't done. By the week's end, I stopped tracking the calls. They didn't slow, they multiplied. Michelle called 10 times one morning. Aaron emailed again, copying our dad. Luke tagged me in an old Facebook photo, captioned, "Family stays together even when it's tough." Like they were baiting a reaction. Any reaction. I gave none. Instead, I turned to something they hadn't noticed, the family business. I'd managed it behind the scenes for years. My dad founded it, a mid-sized remodeling company that survived because I kept the books tight, negotiated contracts, and handled licenses and legal issues. My parents played public roles, but without me, it was a fragile setup. I'd built it, kept it profitable, and I owned the LLC. Quietly transferred to me 5 years ago when my dad needed a loan banks wouldn't give. They never read the details. I never thought I'd use that power. I ran it because I wanted their success, because I thought we were a team. But after the crash, their silence, their selfishness, their entitled messages, it was time to shift gears. I didn't announce it, didn't call a meeting. I logged into the systems, paused accounts payable, revoked family access, and updated the website. Operations paused. Under restructuring. I emailed suppliers, electricians, drywallers, cabinet vendors, saying payments would resume soon under a new setup. Professional, calm, detached. The fallout hit fast. By the next afternoon, my dad called 7 times. Then my mom. She left a voicemail, emotional, not angry but panicked. Said the crew couldn't access client files that morning. A supplier flagged a hold. She ended with, "What's happening, please? This isn't you." But it was me, the me they never took seriously. 2 hours later, my cousin Kyle called. We hadn't talked in nearly a year. He was always quiet at family events, stayed out of drama. He said, "Hey, I know it's messy, but good for you. I saw what they did after your crash. They knew. And they left." I asked how he knew. He revealed something unexpected. Luke had posted a story en route to the lodge, a clip in the car where Aaron said, "Well, he's in the hospital. What are we supposed to do?" Cry, followed by laughter. Kyle saw it before it was deleted. Others in the extended family did too. It wasn't just neglect. They mocked it. That hit differently. I sat with it. I thought their absence was carelessness. It was worse. It was disregard. The next morning I finalized the shift. The company would go on without them. I filed paperwork to change the address, froze all payroll except mine, and set a meeting with the trusted crew. Guys who'd stuck through lean times. I offered them better contracts, ones I used to reserve for family. Let my parents and siblings figure it out. That evening, Luke sent another text. "You're overreacting. Gonna destroy the family over one bad weekend." I didn't reply, but I wanted to say it wasn't one weekend. It was everyone you expected me to carry. And the one I needed you left. They still didn't grasp what was happening, but they were about to learn. Not for revenge, but because they'd finally faced standing on their own, or falling. The consequences came swiftly but quietly, like a slow unraveling that grew messier. I hadn't planned to check on them, but updates found me. Contractors I'd worked with for years forwarded my dad's frantic messages. His tone swung from polite to threatening. He demanded supplier access, called it a glitch. Some guys laughed, sent me screenshots. One wrote, "Didn't know your dad was so chatty. Thought you ran the show." He was right. Luke took another tack. He posted vague story updates. One showed the company van in a driveway, captioned, "When you give everything to something and get blindsided." As if I hadn't kept him employed through his endless phases. His last job before the family business lasted 6 weeks. I got him that too. Then Erin messaged again. Tried to soften it, said she knew things were off but hoped I could cover her tuition. Just once more. She talked to Mom. Said everyone was ready to apologize. Claimed they were overwhelmed on the trip and didn't know how bad my crash was. I didn't reply because I'd heard her. On video. I hadn't told anyone I saw the clip Kyle mentioned. The one Luke posted briefly where Erin laughed and said, "Well, he's in the hospital. What are we supposed to do? Cry?" It circulated in a family chat before being deleted. They mocked it, then drove off. I didn't mention it, but it lingered every time I saw a new message feigning care. Then something unexpected. My mom showed up. Alone, no warning. She buzzed my building at 8 p.m. I saw her on the security feed, holding a food tin and a grocery bag, likely freezer meals. She stood like she did after parent-teacher nights, quiet, unsure of the mood. I considered ignoring it. I was exhausted. My ribs ached, but curiosity won. I let her in. She didn't speak at first, just set the bag on the counter familiarly. "Then I didn't come to convince you of anything. I just didn't want your freezer empty." Silence. Then she asked, "Are you leaving us for good?" I said, "I already did." "You didn't see it." She didn't cry, didn't argue. She nodded like she expected it but hoped for different. Then she left. For a moment I thought that might be it. But it wasn't. 3 days later a letter arrived. Not digital. A real envelope, my name handwritten, from my grandmother. Inside a note, "You did what was right even if it feels heavy. I've seen this for years." I knew it'd come to this. "Don't forget to make room for peace when you're ready." Taped to it a folded check for $3,100. The exact amount they requested for the lodge trip. Not guilt, not a message. Just her way of saying you don't owe them. They owe you, and I'm on your side. I didn't cash it, still haven't, but I kept it. Because for the first time in years I wasn't alone. That meant more than anything. By the 3rd week the noise stopped. The texts, calls, voicemails, half-hearted apologies, they vanished. I thought it might be a pause, a guilt-driven lull before new manipulation. It wasn't. It was surrender. They finally understood. I wasn't returning. There was no going back to my old role. No more fixer, no more safety net. No more unpaid emotional work disguised as love. The image they had of me, the reliable one, the helper, the one who always showed up, was gone. Because when I needed them, they didn't show. The company kept running. Smaller, cleaner, stronger. I kept only the crew that worked hard, showed up, didn't expect favors. It was slower but honest. I took consulting offers from other firms. Started building for myself. Not the family. For me. I didn't announce it. Didn't burn their world down or send a dramatic message. I just walked away. Luke got a night shift job at a warehouse by the freeway. Told a drywaller it was temporary. I knew better. That was his life now. No more handouts. No more company van, no side pay, just reality. Erin dropped out of grad school, posted about a mental health break. Her professor emailed me for a reference, unaware of the rift. I didn't respond. Michelle sold her car, moved back with my parents. They called it temporary, like always, the kind that becomes a year. My mom tried once more. A text at 9 p.m. on a Sunday. Said she'd been reflecting. Said it felt strange not hearing from me. Said family dinners weren't the same and asked if I'd stop by soon. I stared at the message. Not tempted, but because for the first time I felt nothing. No anger, no sorrow. Just calm I hadn't known in years. Like standing outside a house I once lived in, one that never felt like home, and realizing I didn't miss it. I never had. I didn't reply. The next day I bought a plane ticket to Oregon, a place I'd always wanted to see but never had time for. I rented a cabin alone and spent a week among trees, fog, and silence. No favors, no duties, no one asking for anything. And I felt what it was to exist for myself. Not as a support, not as a bank, just me. I still talk to my grandmother, visit Uncle Keith sometimes. They never mention the family split. They don't need to. They saw it unfold over years like I did. My grandmother still sends cards, sometimes with notes, sometimes with checks she knows I won't cash. Just gestures that matter. That's what real love is. People say family is everything, but they don't mention what happens when family holds you back. When love has strings, when loyalty is one way. I had to crash literally to see it. And I'm not angry anymore. I'm not waiting for apologies. I'm not hoping for change. They have their lives. I have mine. The difference is I built mine on truth and peace. They built theirs on borrowed time, and I'm no longer paying for it. So, what are your thoughts on this story? Do you agree with what happened, or do you see it differently? Let us know your opinion in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming stories. See you in the next one.